Hey there, beer tubers. Welcome back to Maxwell Starr's beer reviews. Here for take two on a beer review that I messed up. Gonna take a look at something new from Guinness. Not really new, and probably available in the States well before it came here to Canada, but this is Guinness Blonde American Lager, which is a pale lager brewed by the company that comes from St. James Gate here up in Ireland, but according to the label here, actually brewed in the US of A. It says Mosaic, Willamette, American hops combined with our famous Guinness yeast. It says a crisp, refreshing tasting beer with a rich, delicious flavor brewed in America with the Guinness traditions known only to our master brewers with our famous Guinness yeast and Mosaic and Willamette American hops. 5% ABV, right? 5% ABV. Yeah, so that's kind of an interesting thing. This is here brewed and bottled by Guinness Brewing Company in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. So for some reason, it's got some kind of relation with, it probably has some kind of relation, maybe either coincidental, same city, but probably to do with Rolling Rock, which I think is an A&B InBev product now. Or I might be wrong on that, it might be Miller. Actually, I think they merged in it. Whatever. Yeah, because I mean, in Canada, it's brewed by Rolling Rock, is brewed by Labatt. Whatever. This is brewed in the States at Latrobe, which is famous for where Rolling Rock comes from. Anyway, Blonde American Lager and brewed with Mosaic and Willamette hops, 5% ABV. Let's take a look. When I first poured it, I got this nice, like brassy kind of color. It's got about as much carbonation now as it did then. It's got a few streamers here and there, not aggressively, but it did have some nice carbonation. Original pour came out to about 2 fingers ahead on the top there, which was fairly nice, especially considering it's a pale lager. Looking at that, yeah, it's a nice beer. Let's give it a sniff. Yeah, I mean, but when I first smelled it, I didn't get much other than this nice, like a bready kind of, like brown bread, molasses kind of malt smell. Despite advertising itself as having Willamette and Mosaic hops, I'm not really getting much of that in the aroma. Now that the glass is been half drank, I'm getting more of that, your typical pale lager kind of smell. A little bit like the inside of a bean can after you've eaten the beans. And that might play itself into maybe just that molasses kind of caramel note that was there before with a touch of yeast. Overall, it's not a bad smelling beer. Let's give it a taste. It's almost like this beer is two-sided. On the tip of the tongue, I'm not getting much. I'm not getting much on the tip of the tongue. As it dries out and as it fades back, I get this little bit bready, a little bit molasses kind of taste. All of the action seems to be happening towards the back of the mouth. In that back of the mouth, I'm getting this very distinct herbal, touch tropical note with a lingering earthy resin. But it doesn't linger too long. The finish is a little dirty. And the herbal note kind of makes it, the herbal, the drying gives it this kind of copper coin, like licking a penny kind of note. And it's not what I would call a super crisp finish. It's very, very dirty and not too crisp, despite advertising that it's a crisp finish. Now, one of the reasons why I stopped the review before was I got into a little rant about them saying that they uses a Guinness yeast on this. And that would technically be an impossibility if Guinness is actually an ale, which stouts are generally ales, and Guinness Blonde was actually a lager. I find that as a lager, it's not a crisp finish. I mean, it's a little thin, like in the middle, like a lager would be. But when it reaches the back, it battens out into what would typically make me think ale finish. Um, with the Guinness yeast, it's an ale yeast, and lager is a completely different kind of yeast. Like ale yeast are top fermenting, lager yeast are bottom fermenting. The way that the yeast behaves and what temperatures the yeasts are actually activating the beer at are totally different from each other, despite doing pretty much the same thing. But that's the thing. Like technically, it wouldn't be classified as a lager if they used Guinness yeast. So there you go. That said, it's not a bad beer. It kind of strikes me as like a nice, almost like a Vienna lager, with the way the malt and the hops kind of interact with each other. I don't really get anything that's distinct towards the Mosaic. Maybe a touch of tropical with the Mosaic and the Willamette hops, but at the same time, it's kind of this dirty finishing pale lager that is as interesting as it is unremarkable. It's kind of middle of the road. Like, it's not bad. I like it. If I were to classify it as a Vienna lager, it's half decent. As a pale lager, it's not really that clean. Is it good? Yeah, it's fine. Is it Guinness? Well, the hardcore fans of Guinness might like it. Hardcore fans of Guinness who are used to like the Guinness Extra Stout or the Draft or the Oran Extra Stout, probably not going to care for this. If you just love the Guinness brand, then you might find it interesting as something clean and easy to, somewhat clean and easy to drink in comparison. But me personally, if I were to reach for a Guinness, I'd probably be reaching for a pint of the black stuff, to be honest. It's okay. I don't hate it, and I'm not a super fan of it. But overall, I'd give it a 3 out of 5. It's middle of the road. It's an okay lager, but would I go out of my way to buy it again? The only reason I bought this again was for the review, and before that was for an Untapped patch during March. It's okay. At least that dirty finish that's leaving me a little ho-hum. Even as it finishes, I'm losing that molasses malt kind of character, and it's all just turning into this tightly, slightly lemony tart, earthy dirt. So it's meh. Anyway, your mileage may vary, but 3 out of 5 from me. Thanks for watching Maxwell Starr's beer review of Guinness Blonde American Lager. Talk to you folks later. Cheers.